in order to resolve that situation through whatever crucible that you choose based upon the body you choose, the crucible you choose, which would be Alzheimer's, it would be heart, high blood pressure, diabetes, different types of diseases are representative of the particular thought patterns and pains that we injured ourselves with based upon our interpretation of that particular experience. So when you understand that, then you understand what it is about karma, and you understand that sometimes the people that you see on the street that don't give a damn about wanting to get a new car, a new house, they're living on the street in the garbage, they done gave up. They no
Mm,
longer, some of these
mm,
people ain't coming
mhm,
back anymore because there's
mm,
nothing here that's holding them down.
mhm, mhm,
You see, our need to be successful, our need to have the big house, our need to have that becomes an energy pattern in itself that
mm,
needs fulfillment because we create that. It has a
mm,
cause and the effect. If the effect doesn't happen while we are alive, we carry that
mm,
into the next life.
mm. Man, you dropping jewels, family. The brother's doing his thing, what he always does. This is our master teacher here, family. Before we get to the next question, we're winding down, family. I'm gonna take two more questions, then we're gonna get out of here. Two more, and then we're gonna get out of here. Before I do, once again, family, I'm posting the brother's PayPal in the chat. Make sure if you came in late, we're almost 4,000 deep. It's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Fox News will like that. All these CNN will like that. These major stations, they will like that. We're not a major station and we got that. So we're important.
Yes, we
Don't let
are.
nobody fool you. We're important.
Yes, we are.
We are important. And Doc is important. And Doc is a jewel in our community, and he has led the way for so many years, and he has made it possible for so many teachers. Support the brother. I posted his PayPal. They took his Cash App. Support the brother family on his PayPal. I'm gonna post his next question, and then I'm gonna put his PayPal on the screen. But make sure you support his PayPal, all right, family? Doc, before I post your PayPal, who are the, and this is a common question, who are the 144,000 in the Bible?
Actually, they got you with the pronoun. It's what are
Uh
1,000 in the
oh.
Bible.
No, explain that. Come on, don't you can't just say that. Come on. What do you
Well,
mean? What?
you gotta understand
What?
that most people don't understand that all of the characters you see in the Bible are fictitious. They
Uh-huh.
may use certain historical characters in order to give validity to the point that they want to put across. But
Uh-huh.
the 144,000 are based upon a scientific process that the Kundalini works, how the body works. We
Mm-hmm.
teach this in the higher third degree in our university. There is a
Mm-hmm.
process that I was also speaking to you about that the
Mm-hmm.
solar plexus is where this is the manger.
Mm-hmm.
This is the manger. If you look at it, if you were to just to tear the body apart and look at the solar plexus, well, that's we call it a plexus
Mm-hmm.
because it's a combination and a gathering together at one
Mm-hmm.
point. And this is the manger that they speak about.
Mm-hmm.
And everything in the Bible is here. It's this is the Bible. But
Mm-hmm.
they've masked it by anthropomorphizing all of the different forces that constitute the astrotheological message that our ancestors put on the spinning dome and told us that that's the school. We are getting a rotation of the dome, which is giving us certain energy patterns at certain times and graduating folks from one level to the next.
Mm-hmm.
And when you understand that everything they could possibly speak about on an external purpose, when they're talking about holy and spiritual, they're talking about what's inside of us.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in here. That's why over the top of all of the high temples of ancient Kemet, before they before the so-called Greeks took it, is know thyself. How is it that the greatest of great ancestors would put right across the top, know thyself? Why? Because it is all within you. It is not who are the 144,000. That's the trick. That's the illusion. What you have to do is to understand the discipline that raises the 144,000 that is saved. And once it is
Mm,
saved, it then now goes into Israel, okay? And into the promised land. That's where the pineal is. That's the
mm,
promised land.
mm.
Once you get into the promised land, that's where you begin to see heaven, because heaven simply means a heaved up place. And this is where heaven is. This is heaven. This is the sun. This is earth. And when you understand the three parts that make you the avatar of God, as above, so below, you then understand exactly what your task is. And that is to become more and more aware that you are an avatar of God.
Wow. Powerful. Powerful family. This is what we need that we are not getting. This is what they are keeping from us, lying to us about, and suppressing. Yeah, this is why we're here tonight. Yeah. Yeah, this is why we. One more question before we get out of here, family. One more question. Once again, the doc's information is on the screen. Dr. Valentine, he better call me tomorrow and say, Rich, oh, Rich, my PayPal is booming. Because listen, majority of what we do on this channel is based on his information that he has delivered the last 20 years. And when I say the elder, you see how y'all act. Y'all know Bobby's not around, so y'all, oh, where's Bobby? Where's Bobby? Don't wait till Phil's not around and y'all. Where's Phil? Phil's here with us right now, and he needs help. He's here with us right now and needs help. There's no fake nigga outrage. He's here right now and he needs help. Save the fake nigga outrage for later. Go to his PayPal. It's on the screen. KemetEarth@gmail.com. KEMETEARTH at gmail.com. Save the fake nigga outrage for later on. To support him, simply go to PayPal and hit that email up, family, all right? That is of utmost importance, all right? Utmost importance. And we're going to take one more question. I had one more question. I lost it, but it's all good. I'm going to find another question because we have 4,000. We have 4,000, Doc. And it's booming in the people, you know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
we need these 4,000 people to get the message. So let me get to this last question. I don't want to keep got. I told Doc we was gonna be on 8 tonight, and in my mind, I don't forgot. I forgot, and then it was really 9.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get to this last question. Let me see. Um, hmm, uh, the primordial. Let's ask this. Yeah, I'm sorry. Whatever. This is pretty much the same thing.
Mm.
Somebody asked about the dark ages of Kemet or the dark. I forgot, but this question is the primordial realm. Pre-Earth, pre-universe, Doc. Who the F are we? Primordial realm. Who the F are we?
We
They
are.
say we older than the moon and stars, the sun, moon, and stars, Doc.
Yes, we are. We are.
Talk to
We
me.
are. As soon as the Creator awakened to itself, we existed.
Mm,
We. There was never a time that we, as humanity, never was. All this nonsense about us coming up from the slime through apes and into manhood is all nonsense. It's
mm,
crap.
mm,
The seed that creates man has always represented itself from time to time. This is now the sleep of Brahma. We are the
mm,
dream of the Creator.
mm,
The wakeful of Brahma is its self knowledge of self, so nothing else exists. This is something that they call the yugas, or the ancient Dravidians used to call the sleep of Brahma and the waking of Brahma.
mm,
So we are right now in the dream. We are the dream that the Creator is having of itself,
mm,
and we are the ones participating in that dream and feeding back and giving it a substantive experience of itself. And we are the experience of the Creator, and as we experience, it experiences itself. So yeah, um, the primordial realm is to say that means that there's a beginning. There's no beginning and there's no end.
mm,
The
mhm,
primordial realm is the division of our own consciousness.
mm,
We divide things and we portion it, we fractionate it so that we could, in our feeble way, try to understand and overstand it. Some people try to overstand it to have power over it. The ones who are the true masters do not. We're simply here to experience and become a feedback echo chamber for that experience to the One Most High, which then feeds back its own realization of itself back to us, which raises our own physical consciousness to more knowledge, to a higher realm. And this is that's what's missing, that interchange and that interface between us and our creator. So primordial, prime meaning first, first meaning coming out of all that is. Because if you're talking about first, then you've numerically separated the all in all into a beginning. So there is no prime, there is only what is. Consciousness is. There is no consciousness, there's no definition to consciousness. It is just what it is and what it becomes and what it has the capability to be on limitless levels. So, primordial realm, that's good for us because we need to fractionate reality in order to understand our place in it. So, don't be fooled by that. Okay? Don't be fooled by what we see as primordial or the secondary realm or this realm versus that realm. It's all one realm, and it is the human consciousness that divides it because that's what we want to do. We want to understand all that goes into the God self and our understanding and understanding of what's outside of ourselves. If we cut ourselves off and go through abstractions trying to explain the outer world through abstractions of metaphysics, not metaphysics, but mathematics. And I call mathematics ma'at hemetics. When we try to put all these different formulas in the way, we estrange ourselves from that direct connection. And that's been the problem. We're using a censoring mechanism called quantum science. And that censoring mechanism is taking us away from using our body as a direct and the original interface between God and self. The man has this thing where we go through all the modern man has this thing where he has to and this is the European man, he has to go through all these complications to try to figure it out because he doesn't have the contact with that melanin within. You have to understand that whatever it is that he's trying to articulate with all these little formulas that we're supposed to be all fascinated, and he's of course he's creating his physical world from the limitations of what that world can give to him. And all of it does, what it does is, and this is the trick, listen carefully to me, family. The more you begin to try to control the physical world, not understanding that this is an illusion, you can take that illusion and mold it in such a way through the mechanics, through the technology. You can mold it in such a way that you think you're controlling it and getting to be more and more advanced by your manipulation of it, the material world. But then that material world comes back on you and ends up controlling you. So the more you think to control the world,
Mm-hmm.
physical world, the
Mm-hmm.
material world,
Mm-hmm.
the temporal world, the more you try to control it and try to use the mechanisms at your disposal to control others within that world, the more that world ends up controlling you.
Wow.
You see, that's why the spiritual world and the studying the spiritual world is the only way out. But the European tries to give you religion, which is another stopgap. They don't teach you spirituality. They teach you religion, religio, which is to relegate you to a particular format, to a particular God. They give you the white Jesus, or they give you a name for you to marginalize it, to condense it, to cause it to come to reduce it. How do you reduce God to a name?
Mm.
Once you reduce it to a name, then you've reduced it to you yourself, and now it becomes a physical thing that you call upon rather than a thing that you access through your meditation
Mm.
without a name. because the sound, they talk about the music of the spheres. That sound of the spheres is the word of God. That is the voice of the Most High. And it ain't calling itself Jesus. Yo, that's my name, Jesus.
mm, mm,
That's my name, Allah.
mm,
That's my name, Jehovah.
mm,
No, that's what you think the name is. And
mm,
I've imposed those names upon you to control you.
mm,
Find the name of God within you and call that name that your personal relationship with the Most High told you is the name.
mm. Doc, man, I would hate to end it now, but we gotta, we gotta,
Why
we,
don't we just say this?
yeah.
Anybody wants to get in contact with us for our services, 800-847-1291. Again, 800-847-1291. Or again, please remember that when you are gifting us, and by the way, thank you again so much, Brother Rich,
Mhm,
for this opportunity. They did snatch down without any reason. They told me that you're not following guidelines just out of the blue. I
mm,
don't know what guidelines I wasn't following. Everything I did was everything that was perfect, and they just snatched it down, and I couldn't use it anymore. They say snatch all your money out. You are no longer part of this. And whoa. Well, they must have even, listened to what it is I had to say, and they've been combing. They got rid of 4 million uh, uh, PayPal accounts, and about I think 2 or 3 million um, other accounts, and they had a few accounts for the Cash App as well.
mhm,
So, again, 800-847-1291. And when you are gifting, family, please remember to click that button, that feature that says sending to a friend. And that way we do get your whole gift without them tapping in and snatching, taxes from it.
mhm,
And the Juice Plus as well, by the way. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but
mhm.
JP, listen, JP, I can't talk
Mhm.
about you want nutrition. You talk about what it is that you need. That JP family, JP Nutrition. You want whole nutrition? You can get it with JP Nutrition. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Hey, no, definitely. I definitely appreciate you telling the people about that and everything you got going on. It's such a pleasure to be in this position. Like this is like a blessing. Like this man raised me from the dead metaphysically. So for me to be in this position to show him support and to have people raise money live, like wow, that's amazing. And to know that Cash App is hating on the brother, like let me post all his information again in the chat. Yeah, Cash App is hating, and that's what they do. These platforms, they start hating on you when you start doing something against their agenda. The Democrats do it a lot. I'm not saying the Republicans are innocent, but the
Yeah.
Democrats right now, they are like, man, listen, they used to be the sheep in wolves clothing, but right now
They
they
straight up wolves now.
yeah,
Straight up.
yeah, man. They straight wolves now. They're not even hiding their agenda.
But
So
we were never Democrats. We got to
yeah.
remember, we didn't become Democrats until they signed that Civil Rights Act, and that's when your boy, what's his name, Lyndon Johnson said, with this particular act, I will have these niggers voting
Mm,
Democrat for the next 200 years. We were
mm.
always Republican.
What year was that, Doc? What year was that?
1967, I believe.
67. Around
Yeah,
67.
yeah, around that time.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Look it up, family. We've been tricked. We've been tricked by the Democrats.
Yeah,
Don't let them
demons.
don't fall for their bullshit, family. We've been tricked by them.
Oh yeah, that's the Klans. That was the
Yeah,
Klan party.
yeah.
Remember that
Right.
that Klan actually built that party up
Mm,
against the Republican Party for bringing in us
mm,
folks.
mm. Man, this is good. We could go on and on forever, family. But we gotta go. Thank everybody for tuning in. We are like we about 4,000 strong. Thank you, Dr. Valentine, for tuning in tonight. It's been an amazing live fundraiser for the doc. I can't wait till Doc hit me up tomorrow and say, Brother Rich, thank you. They hit me up. Oh my, like that's gonna bring me joy. So,
Thank you.
family, thank you for your support. And if you're watching this at a later time, continue to support. It don't stop. Even if it's 5 years from now, still support. It does not stop. This brother needs the help, whether you're here now or later. So, with that being said, family, this is Brother Rich, Dr. Phil Valentine. Peace.
Peace. Is a resonating signature that is the connection between the material and the spiritual.
Mm-hmm.
And the soul is the record keeper of your physical experience, of your temporal experience.
Mm-hmm.
The soul etches the deepest experiences that you have that are emotional to you. Say you have a deep emotional crisis. If you are not balancing that particular crisis by understanding how to alleviate or to change the judgmental perception of what that thing is to you, you find out that your own judgment of yourself becomes that mark that you leave on your soul. It becomes almost like a keloid, like a
Mm.
scar,
Right. Mm.
like a wound. And then as you go through the birth canal again, remember, energy is never created and energy can never be destroyed. And so your thoughts become an energy signature that you create out of your own experience. And it becomes your return ticket. That damage, that need, and whatever it is you do to disrupt the balance.
Mm-hmm.
This is what it's all about. It's about maintaining and coming into balance with yourself. And all the things that you do that are outside of balance. If you're not seeking the balance, which is seeking the peace within, to understand what your thoughts are in connection to your soul, how your thoughts can override the observer, which is the teacher for the soul.
For the
It is
soul.
the judge for the soul. So we tend to think that our thoughts are the only things that we need to run on. But that gas is used up very quickly because your thoughts can turn on you. Your thoughts can start dictating to you, and that's when it becomes an addiction.
Mm.
So what happens is your observer now must see the thought process as something that is the learning, it's a guide, it's a light, a pointer to your balance. If your thoughts are not pointing you towards equilibrium, ma'at, and a balancing of all the energies that have come through your thinking process, through your emotions, through your actions. If your thoughts are always belaboring about somebody else doing something to you, or you don't you're blaming yourself for this, and or you're blaming that other person for what you're doing, and you're not balancing yourself, the
Mm.
soul is taking it's taking notes.
Mm.
And what happens is some people leave with a soul heavy burdened with things that they felt that you have not accomplished: guilt,
Mm.
hatred, greed, jealousy.
Mm.
These are what they call the seven deadly sins, or the seven deadly thought processes that cause you to become a recidivist. You keep being imprisoned by the body. And
Mm.
this is what Buddha warned us against. Buddha
Mm.
said it's the taste for the human body, it's the taste for sensations that keep you imprisoned. Your need to constantly feel the body, because the body then overrides and dictates what it is that reality is, and it's not. And we have to understand that this is an illusion, even though we have agreed for to feel it, to be part of it. The organizer and the one that is the distiller of your
Mm.
experiences
Mm.
becomes the soul. And
Mm.
you are the one who essentially says what's going to be etched on it. That's the book of life. Your book of life is your soul.
Mm.
It
Mm.
is it is where you are writing your experiences and what it is you're going to return with. Or if you found peace, if you have not allowed the material world to addict you,
Mm.
then you return by choice and not by being compelled to come
Mm.
to
Mm.
balance what you did unbalance while you were in the physical form.
You've been involved in so many sciences throughout the years, Doc. You've been doing this for over 30 years. Have you ever gotten into past life? I think they call it past life progression. And if you have you
Yeah,
discovered who you was in a past life? Is
I
that something you want to
yeah
talk about?
yeah. Well, someone did that for me back when I was with Queen Afua, back when we
Mm.
were married,
Mm.
and I remember they did it. If I'm not mistaken, we did it at on the Nostrand Avenue Center.
Mm.
And when we did it, it was this. It's like I dropped into a hole, And when I dropped into the hole, it was this scene, and then there I was standing on top of all these bodies.
Wow.
And I was saying, I told her, I said, what are all these bodies? And I looked and I saw in my hand it was a lot of blood. And then there was this thing where there was this melancholy that came over me to match the feeling of the melancholy of the entity that I was watching as a third party. And I felt a camaraderie or what a connection to it, as if it was me watching me in a mirror of some kind. And it was fire. But then there was another part where I was sitting in a room that was dark, and there were only eyes all around. It was weird. It was almost like a psychedelic trip. And no, I was not on anything, no psychotropics or anything like that. And when I did it, it was dealing with a hypnotic experience. It was actually dealing with a form of somnambulism and working with somnambulism and cramp. Matter of fact, I told the person who was helping me to do that what to do because I am a advanced hypnotherapist, advanced teacher in hypnotherapy. So I told them what to do to help me to attain that state of mind. And it was really interesting because I remember I had also, when I was a child, when I was 7 years of age, I drowned.
Right.
I
Right.
think I
Mm-hmm.
told you that, and that almost was like the feeling that I had when I did that.
Mm.
So it is possible, but you have to tap into what I found out. When you start getting technical about it, you
Mm.
found out is that inside of your mitochondria that you
Mm.
inherit from your mother,
Mm.
that mitochondria that you have, that genetic part imprint that she gives to you, is almost like a library that we need to tap into. That's why you see these 7-year-old children coming in playing virtuoso piano and violins and so forth. They're just picking up from where they left off.
Mm.
Came
Mm.
back. They came back to complete what they wanted to complete but could not complete. And based upon the adulation that they were seeking, they're looking for that now at a very early age. There's a group, I forgot the name of the all black family, and you probably, your audience knows, in London, in England, and they're called the National Treasure of England. There's 7 children, and they all play their instruments like virtuoso. They're all black.
Mm. Wow.
And their mother, who was Welsh and black, and I think she was Sierra Leone,
Mm.
married a Welsh woman, and the Welsh, they're part black, but they look white. And there was and then the father, and then let's see who it is. Uh, Go look them up. Go look up and say the 7 black children who are. You can put this in there. 7 black children who are the national treasures of England, and you will find there's one that the two of them, the first two, the girl who plays the piano, and her brother, her younger brother who plays the cello. Man, after listening to them, you begin to see what they did to our music here.
Mm.
The complications, the way that they play, and I know they're playing things like Rachmaninoff, and they're playing Liszt and all of these,
Mm.
but that was our music.
Mm.
Jazz is our classical American classical music. But where do you see our children? I was watching this BET award, and it was sickening
Mm.
to watch what it is. I mean, it was crap, and I don't care if you don't like me anymore for saying it, but it's garbage. It's garbage. This woman talking about singing, pull my panties to the side or some nonsense like that, and y'all think that's music? It's sickening. And y'all need to do something about the music that they're showing at that BET award.
Mm.
I'm sorry, I'm going to rant off, but
Yeah, I hear you.
when I saw the kind of crap that they're pushing out there, and there's, and 6 people with a mic, say something, sing something, play something. And nobody want to hear you, ho. The hell you doing with a mic? It's ridiculous. You look at the music, and y'all think we were looking funny in the '60s and '70s when we was dressing idiotic. But check the music we was coming out with. We looked funny and with clown costumes and stuff, but no music was like that. That was a renaissance in so-called melanated or copper tone music.
Mm-hmm.
But today they're not teaching. It took them years to teach us that dark is frozen.
Yeah, Doc is frozen.
You there? Yeah, this
Yeah.
yeah. You see me? Yeah. There's just one beat, and it's a drum, and somebody playing something over there, or y'all are sampling old music. Why don't you learn the old music, copy the old music, play something or write something that matches the old music you're sampling?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Why do you think the only thing they want to push is this? It's a dumb down. It's dumbing you down. The real hip hoppers, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
The ones who are really were trying to keep the message going, keep the beat going, keep the true music going. That's very few. I like the one brother Black Dot's music. And
Cambada.
Cambada.
Yeah.
I played that. That's the opening of my I played their music as the opening to my last webinar, and it's going to be the
Dope.
opening to this webinar.
Dope. Dope.
See what I'm saying? Because they got something to say.
Mm.
All this other crap, and you're going to see these women slutting themselves on stage.
Mm.
I don't want to see you squat unless you're getting ready to have a baby.
Mm.
The hell's all that about? I
Mm.
mean, ain't y'all numb already to all of that nonsense?
You would think, right? Like, how much more
Wow.
can we take of this nonsense?
But I'm sort of saying that is what tires your soul. That's what that music is so destroying music.
Mm.
Why you think they called soul music back in the day?
Facts.
Because you were feeling it. You
Yeah.
fell in love with the music. How many
Mm.
babies were born
Mm.
listening to Barry White?
Yeah.
How many babies were born listening to Isaac Hayes, the
Mm.
Delphonics?
Mm.
That's when you were in love. We were talking love. We just love our women. We talk love to our women. Now we
Mm.
want to call them bitches and hoes and the hoe. Now that's become part of our language. That's what
Yeah.
you are. You a bitch and a hoe. What the hell? Come on.
Doc going off, y'all. Doc going off because Doc is a musician. Y'all don't a lot. Some of y'all don't know Doc is a musician. So this is close to his heart.
Yeah,
You know.
listen. Earth, Wind, and Fire's my friends. They're close. Drummer, the singer, the arranger. I knew Maurice White. I met him back in the day. Fell in love with their music. Listen to true music, and get back to that. Learn, pick up an instrument
Mm.
because that's what you call your spirit catcher. An instrument is a spirit catcher. When you play it, after it, the instrument resists you. It's the hardest thing to get. If you want to play bass, you got to toughen up your
Got
fingers
it. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
your hands got to get strong. And then
Yeah.
you got to work through it until it becomes, and all of a sudden, as soon as you free yourself from it, it begins to give you all the beautiful music you want.
Mm.
But it traps you first, it enslaves you, and then frees you. That's what you have to do. You have to catch a spirit catcher. And some of the ones who are the lyricists, I'm hearing some monstrous lyricists from the old rappers, man. It was so good to listen to hip hop from back in the days until I think Tupac went crazy, started talking all kind of nonsense, and it really hurt me. But when
Mm.
you start wanting to party back in the days, and one of my old guitar player friends, Nile Rodgers, he had a song called "Good Times."
Mm.
They sampled that bad boy and up in the Bronx and became super. Matter of fact, when they sampled Niles' music, that's when the big change took place, and they went to court
Mm.
and stated that since they weren't going to be taking black people playing music anymore, just the rappers, that they changed the laws of music in order for you to sample music because
Oh, okay.
before you couldn't
Mm. Mm.
because Niles and them went to court on Sugar Hill.
Mm.
And that's what changed everything.
Mm. Wow.
And it just destroyed music. And when I turned on the BET Awards, every oh God Almighty, I was I couldn't take it. It was hurting my heart, and I was saying I wanted to look at it because um, our niece, my the granddaughter,
Hmm.
was dancing with Lizzie,
Hmm.
and so we said we want to see her dance with Lizzie,
Hmm.
and she danced, saw her, and then after that, it turned into this thing. I was saying it again, and then all of a sudden, somebody was outside in the audience, and they said, "Time to listen to the baddest music ever played." This woman came out, started singing, and the guy came out, ho, 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 ho. And she's singing to everything, and then he says, ho. I'm saying, that's not the baddest music ever played by black people.
Oh man. Man, Doc on one tonight, y'all. Doc is
I'm,
mad at the
I'm
state of
sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. That was the one. My wife told me say something about that, but
Oh man.
I'm just hurting.
Uh,
I'm just hurt. Let's
don't
get back on the point,
yeah,
man.
don't let it make you that
It
mad.
does. I'm furious when I start looking at our brothers and sisters talking this nonsense. What pissed me off is that they flower it up. They talk the nastiest shit. Women slut themselves, and that's going to be free. That's you. You go, girl. No, that's nasty. And you're just training our young girls to be hoes. You've got Cardi B talking to the goddamn president. How the hell you have Cardi B as your representative? You done lost your mind.
Mm.
I'm
Hey,
sorry. Let's
it's
get
all
back.
good, Doc.
Yeah.
Um, since you mentioned Cardi B and nothing about her personally, but I just thought about children and women giving birth, and we hear all the talk about abortion right now, the Roe versus Wade. How do you think souls trying to come back into this realm? How should we view abortion? Is it a good or a bad thing, or is this something that our ancient culture thought was bad for the souls trying to come back, or is this something that just has always been a part of our culture when we deal with
Women
abortion?
women have always been aborting children.
Hmm.
They knew the secrets. They knew what time it was. They knew, say, rape, especially with rape. They didn't want a child. They had special herbs
Hmm.
that they would take. My grandmother was a doula. I used to see, the table that we had, a very small table, a very small hut that we lived in Trinidad.
Hmm.
And babies would be born on that table in the
Hmm.
day or the night, and then the next morning or the next at the night, we were eating off the table.
Hmm.
And that's what I came up under.
Hmm. Hmm.
But you have to look at the fact that the whole thing around Roe versus Wade was the follow up to Sanger, Margaret Sanger's genocide, campaign when she
Hmm.
went after the preachers and said that, well, the woman Norma McCorvey, she's flip flopping. This woman, Gloria Allred, who's like this staunch feminist, was the one that was actually coaching her during that whole trial.
Hmm.
Then she came back and said, well, the people who are the pro lifers paid me to shift and say, come back and be a Christian and say, I really didn't do that. We know that she had nothing to do with it. She didn't care one way or another if you wanted to abort your child.
Hmm.
But then, of course, Margaret Sanger, and I got a little thing here. Margaret Sanger said in this publication she had called Birth Control Review, she said birth control and racial betterment. This was what the name of it. This was written back in, I think, 1919.
Hmm.
And she said birth control will clear the way for eugenics and the elimination of the unfit. Now, remember, we, the underclass, are the unfit. According to her, black sterilization was actually for the upkeep of society. She argued for keeping the birth rates of blacks down to 15 babies per thousand.
Hmm.
15 babies per thousand. She wanted a population congress to be created so that she could set up a system to eliminate illiterate, paupers, unemployables, criminals, prostitutes, dope fiends, and that there would be camps set up where they would be gathered up after taking tests, and they would be put out on these farms to work for cheap labor. This is all was all structured. And the other part of it was, as a result, you figure that the census that was taken in 1960 showed that there was 18,871,831 black folks in this country at this time that was taken in the census. Now, since the legalization of abortion in 1973, an estimated 20 to 23 million black babies were aborted as of 2020.
Mm.
Now that's more than was that than black folks were in numbers here in the country by 1960. So the thing is, we say that, or we found out that at least 79%, I think it's 79 to 80% of all the abortion clinics are within walking distance of black and Latino communities. Walking distance.
Mhm.
They have sometimes three or four in the neighborhood.
Mhm.
Now, a lot of sisters will say, well, you coming down on it. What about rape? What about incest? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about carelessness. I'm talking about not dealing with responsibility. Women have at least 8 or 9 ways that they can do that. Men have one. The one they want is you can snip or cut, or you can put on a glove.
Mhm.
But now they want to make sure that you snip, or that again they're trying to get a pill where they will definitely kill your sperm.
Mhm.
So I'm looking at the fact that Roe versus Wade was actually the trial was based upon whether or not it was constitutionally legal. Or no, constitution means law. Whether it was constitutionally lawful for a
Mhm.
woman to have an abortion paid for by the state.
Mhm.
Now they would say that, okay, black folks are essentially more prolific when it comes to that birthing. Well, they had to get rid of that. How did they do that? They got rid of it by getting rid of the family. And when you get rid of the family structure, where the man is the head of the household, you teach the boy how to be a man, so he become prolific enough to be able to take care of a family, to create a family, because men create families, not women. And you see that women are essentially now dealing with what I call survival units. You call it single parent families. There's no
Mhm.
such thing as a single parent family. That's an oxymoron. The family is the man, the woman, and the child. That's a family. You could say that there's an extended family where people are, a certain way with each other, supportive of one another, but the core family, the structure, is the man, the woman, and the child. Just like they're destroying the idea of what a gender is, what a woman is. Could you imagine? They couldn't tell you what a woman is. That's how sick we've become. And the politicians don't even want to answer that question.
Mhm.
You go and ask anybody in the street, what's a woman? Um, I don't know. Or, well, there are many different, anybody could be a woman, what? That's where we're at right now. They
Mhm.
can do that to people or to generations who have not been given the proper education to understand who and what they are as individuals. You can always tell somebody who don't know shit from Shinola when it comes to the truth and the reality and what it is that the ancestors gave us, what it is that reality is versus truth and so forth. And you could sell them a bill of goods.
Mhm.
And that's what they're doing in the schools. That's why men are dropping out of schools and women are all in the schools now because they're all the ones getting a PhD and all these things, and they still working at McDonald's. Women are going all into finance, and now I'm going into business for myself and all that. This everything you see happening today is based on dysfunction. If our women is out there working, what are our children doing? They're being given over to the government to take care of. Do they give a damn about them? No. In fact, they let them get shot and killed while the police stand outside. They don't care about your children. That's why I said from what 10, 20 years ago, take your children out of public school. You heard me say that constantly. That's
Hmm.
why we set up the ISM. We got to be able to teach you the true culture that we left. Jazz, what we call rock, that was our music that white boys took.
Hmm.
They stole that. We had so-called classical music. They took the black people that was the originators of it, especially when it came down to the so-called chamber music. That was made by Chevalier. He was the one who mentored Mozart. Was a brother, and he was the number one swordsman. He was the Michael Jordan of swordsmanship,
Mm.
and he was the consort of Marie Antoinette, and the head of the palace guard. He was a true Renaissance man. But you hear,
What was his brother's name?
I believe it's Duchavier. You all know what I'm talking about. I'll get the name for you, and it's in my book too. Oh, it'll come to me, and I'll send it to you. You can go ahead and tell them, say Dr. Valentine gave me the name, and I'll get you the name. And if you
Definitely.
look at the old pictures of Beethoven,
Uh-huh.
he nappy headed.
Yeah.
And that's a picture of him in the British Museum that you don't see. It's going to be in my new book, Cosmic. But anyway, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be ranting off, but
No, I love it. Your passion. I love what you. We love it. We just love it. Oh, by the way, let
there,
me
whoa,
take.
whoa, 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 whoa. There it is.
J-
Chevalier de Saint Georges. Thank you. Thank you, my
That's the name.
brother.
Yeah.
Yes, Joseph
They they
Boulogne.
they
He,
sharp in the chat.
I love it. I love these people. I love the
Yeah.
brothers and sisters who come in here. See, you got
Yeah.
a serious following, brother.
This a different kind of chat room. This is a
Hmm.
different kind of channel.
I'm
They
loving it.
sharp.
I'm loving it. This is my old. Some of the gray cells are not working. I have to get it back in order. But
Yeah.
yes, he was a Renaissance man and was responsible for giving Mozart one of his first jobs.
Mm,
And he was the one because back in those days there were big orchestras that played for the kings.
mm,
He was the one who took and made the cello, the viola, the violin, and the piano a thing, a concert piece.
mm,
Was never done. It was him. And then when Napoleon took over France, he burned all of his writing, all of his music. Only a little bit of his music is left
mm,
because Napoleon hated what happened to them with the Napoleon and all the rest of them hated what happened to him in Haiti.
mm,
So when this black man who had this huge standing with statues of him
mm.
and all of his accomplishments, the first thing Napoleon did was to burn down and destroy his works. So you never heard about him, but you're gonna hear about him when you get my book.
Mm. Definitely. So Mozart wasn't a brother.
No, I believe that Mozart was a mix. He
Okay.
was. They said he was a brother, but I don't believe he was a brother.
Hmm.
I know there was a lot of brothers, a lot of mixing. The first Germans were black. In
Hmm.
fact, Benjamin Franklin said that when they were all migrating into Philadelphia, he wanted to put a stop to the migration of the Germans because he said that would blacken the population.
Hmm. Mm, mm.
As a matter of fact, the German army at that time was the horsemen.